There's a guy in his late 40s. Good job, solid savings, zero debt. He could walk into any dealership today and drive home in something brand new, no problem. The salesman could tell the second he walked through the door. But he didn't buy the car. He walked back out, put on his helmet, and rode off on a motorcycle he bought 4 years ago for $8,000. Nobody in that dealership understood it. A few of them probably felt sorry for him. That was their first mistake. You've likely seen someone like this, a coworker, a neighbor, someone whose life is clearly going fine, and yet there's a motorcycle in the driveway where a new SUV should be. No obvious explanation, just a scuffed helmet on the seat and a look on their face that's hard to place. That look is the whole story, and most people walk right past it without ever stopping to ask the right question. Here's what most people never consider when they look at someone who chooses a motorcycle over a car. That choice is almost never about the vehicle. It's about what the person needs from their day, from their mind, from the version of themselves that shows up to the rest of their life after the commute is done. Most decisions about transportation are actually decisions about identity dressed up as practical choices. We tell ourselves we're being logical, we compare features, run the numbers. But underneath all of that, what we're really asking is a much more personal question. What does this say about who I am, and does that match who I want to be? For some people, the motorcycle is the only answer that gets that question right, not because of what it costs or what it saves, but because of what it does to them while they're on it. There's a reason the car industry spends billions every year on advertising. It isn't to inform you about the vehicle, it's to connect the vehicle to a feeling, safety, arrival, status, control. The message underneath every car commercial is the same. The right car will make you feel like the right person. That's not an accident, it's a very old psychological lever. People buy things to feel a certain way, and then they keep buying things to maintain that feeling, because the feeling doesn't last. The new car smell fades, the heads stop turning. The thing that was supposed to signal something about you becomes just another object in the driveway, and the pull toward the next upgrade quietly begins. Psychologists call the gap between what we think something will give us and what it actually delivers the impact bias. We consistently overestimate how good a new purchase will make us feel and for how long. The emotional high of a new vehicle fades far faster than the monthly payment does. The motorcycle rider has opted out of that cycle entirely. What they've opted into instead is something research has started to take seriously. When you ride a motorcycle, your brain cannot be anywhere but where you are. There is no option to drift. You cannot mentally check out, run through your inbox, or replay yesterday's argument while the road disappears underneath you. Every corner, every car in the next lane, every shift in the road demands a response, right now. What that produces is a state most people only stumble into by accident. Psychologists call it a flow state. It's what happens when a task is demanding enough that your brain locks onto it completely, and the background noise, the anxiety, the mental clutter, all of it goes quiet. Time moves differently. You're just in it. Research shows that people who regularly reach this state report higher satisfaction and lower anxiety in daily life. Studies on motorcycle commuters specifically have found that stress markers in the body drop during a ride in ways that simply don't happen in a car. Riders don't just arrive at their destination, they arrive different, calmer, more focused, more present, and that version of them is what everyone around them gets for the rest of the day. But the motorcycle doesn't just reset something, it also refuses to perform something. And that refusal matters more than it looks like. A car, especially a new one, is one of the most visible things a person owns. It sits in driveways, parks in lots, pulls up to restaurants, seen constantly by people who know you and strangers who never will. That visibility makes it one of the most powerful social signals in everyday life. Whether anyone admits it or not, people read cars. They draw conclusions. Most people know this. They factor it in when they buy, not consciously, not cynically, but the awareness is there. The question of what will people think is present in the room even when nobody says it out loud. The person who chooses the motorcycle has made peace with that question. More than made peace with it, they've dismissed it, not out of rebellion, but out of a specific realization. The opinion of a stranger in a parking lot has no actual weight in their real life, and spending significant money to manage that opinion is a trade they stopped being willing to make. That is a psychological shift that most people never fully complete. The need to be seen favorably by people who don't matter is remarkably sticky. It drives enormous amounts of spending. Wardrobes, neighborhoods, restaurants, vacations chosen for the photo rather than the experience. The car is just one of the most expensive places that instinct shows up. Finance-wise, it costs real money, too. A new car loses about 20% of its value in the first year alone. The average price is near $48,000 right now. That's a lot to spend on an audience that will forget what you drive by tomorrow morning. This is also about something even simpler. It's about the difference between an experience and an object. When you own a car, you have a thing. When you ride a motorcycle, you have something closer to a practice, a daily ritual your body and mind recognize and respond to. The wind, the lean into a turn, the vibration of the engine, those details keep you anchored in your body in a way that sitting inside a climate-controlled box on four wheels simply doesn't. Riders often describe the feeling as the opposite of numb, as if the rest of the day they're moving through the world with a thin layer of glass between them and it, and the ride is the one part where the glass is gone. That is not a small thing to give yourself every day. That is, for a lot of people, the best 20 minutes of a Tuesday, and they built their whole morning around protecting it. Now consider what this means for how you move through your own choices, whether a motorcycle is ever part of your life or not. The question the motorcycle rider has learned to ask is a simple one. Is this thing I'm about to get actually going to change how I experience my life, or is it going to change how my life looks to other people? Those are two very different purchases. One of them follows you into every room for years. The other lives mostly in the driveway. The pull toward the visible purchase is strong. It's human. It's understandable. And entire industries have spent decades making it stronger. Noticing that pull doesn't make you immune to it, but it does give you a second before you act on it. And sometimes a second is enough. The guy who didn't buy the car isn't making a statement. That's what makes it interesting. He's not trying to be different, not performing a kind of anti-status the same way other people perform status. He simply found something that gives him what he actually needs and chose it over what other people expected. The motorcycle in the driveway isn't a compromise, it's a conclusion. And the most interesting thing about that conclusion is how quiet it is. No announcement, no explanation required. Just a helmet, a key, and someone who figured out something the rest of us are still working on. That kind of clarity doesn't have a sticker price, but everything else, it turns out, does.